see, we're not professional, Russell. I'm over here thinking we had about 10 minutes, and no, we don't.
It literally has a countdown at the top.
Yeah, but I never pay attention to that. Come on. Hey.
Oh, looks like we're live.
I believe we are. Hey,
there we go.
Mr. Corey's in there. So y'all ready to get this show on the road?
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Here we go. Welcome to Creative Makers Podcast, episode 134. I'm Joey with Steel Blade Woodworks, joined by our host, Matt with Wacky Works, Mustachio from the Wooden Mustache, Mr. Steve I from Steve I Designs, and joining us tonight, our special guest, Russell Kieselbach, owner and operator of Kieselbach Workshop. How's everybody doing?
Doing good.
Hey, Mustache, why don't you jump onto your little spiel here of thanking some wonderful people.
All right. I would like to say that Creative Makers Podcast is made possible by you, our patrons. Thanks to all of you for your support, including Steve Mosley, David Beckwith, and the Working Hands Podcast. We appreciate your support so much. And we can move it on over to Steve.
All right, everyone. We're really excited about tonight's guest. Tonight, we'd like to welcome to the show Russell from Kieselbach Workshop. Russell, his love for woodworking started when he got his first table saw at about 13 years old. And that spark grew into a lifelong passion for the craft. Before going full-time in his shop, Russell spent years in early childhood education and eventually made the leap to turn his woodworking passion into a business. We're excited to dig into his journey, what he's working on right now, and where he sees his work and business heading next. So grab a drink, pull up a chair, and help us welcome Russell from Kieselbach Workshop to the Creative Makers Podcast. Russell, welcome to the show, and tell us, what do you have in the works?
Thanks for having me. Right now, I just started talking to the company Plain Wellness. I don't know if you guys have seen them on Instagram. They are like, they teach people that are basically using woodworking as a therapy. And I've been offered a position to help teach some classes there. So I'm starting to put together a few classes that I might be teaching. They're online classes, so that'll be kind of interesting. I'm not sure how that'll really work. I mean, I know that a lot of woodworking is just telling people, but there's also a lot of like touch and things that tend to come over a little better in person. So that'll be an interesting challenge. But so I'm coming up with a few classes for that. And I just started measuring out all the doors in my kitchen to redo all the doors. So that'll be probably really repetitive and annoying. And I don't like doing cabinetry work, but that's another project I got going. So, I mean, I tend to focus more on like heirloom furniture pieces. So this will be, doing what most other people are doing when they're in their shops and building cabinetry stuff. So that's what I got going. And Joey, you're up. What do you got working on?
I'm up. I am working on a dust collection, trying to get my new system set up. So I'm actually 3D printing some files right now to adapt. You know how that goes, adapting blast gates to pipe and all that good stuff. Cause I'm not going with metal pipe. I bought a bunch of the sewer pipe, or whatever you want to call it, like everybody has always done. So now I'm converting everything and trying to get I purchased a new Rockler dust collector. So that's going to be dedicated to my CNC, and also getting the main dust collector for the shop online as well. So I had to go through, Russell, if you don't know, I had some foundation issues in my new shop, and I had to get that fixed. So I had to tear everything apart. Well, it was never finished. I procrastinated quite a bit. And, so now I'm getting everything back in order and trying to get everything underway. So that's what I've been doing, trying to get my shop set back up and going through that process. And hopefully get everything lined back out, machines and everything soon, so I can start having some fun again and opening up some of the goodies that have been, as we call it's an ongoing joke, marinating in boxes in my shop for quite a bit. So you're not aware of that, but I have a lot of stuff in boxes that Steve has pushed me to buy over the years, and he's
Out of
Come on,
nowhere.
man.
he's a bad
You are just a
influencer.
collector of boxes.
He's
You're a
a-
purveyor of boxes upon boxes.
Let me tell you what, this man is something else, because I had just mentioned like maybe getting into hand planes, and I have went down this rabbit hole because of that man has just pushed me into the hand plane side of things, and I love it.
Come on now, Joey. I haven't pushed you. I've
Yeah.
just opened your eyes to another alternative
Sure.
way of working with wood.
And it's been great. No, all jokes aside, I've always wanted to do it, and I was very fortunate to meet Steve, and he has helped us all a lot with the skills, and hopefully getting to know you. It looks like you do a lot of hand tool work. So I was always hesitant of doing that because I didn't know how. Even though I've been doing woodworking, that was just one side of it that I was always hesitant. Made the wrong decision of buying a cheap one kind of, and then got frustrated because I couldn't figure it out, and then just threw it aside, but then bought some better products, and now it's made it fun. And Steve's been helping us along the way to fine tune them and stuff. So, but not to go off the rails here, that's what I've been doing in my shop, is getting that set up. So I'm trying to get that going because I'm real eager to get back in there and start making some stuff and having some fun again. So anyhow, I'm gonna shut up there and throw it over to Mr. Wackerly. What's going on in your shop, bud?
Still working on the concrete countertops, getting those done. First time doing a wooden inlay in the middle of it, so taking it easy. I don't want to put too much pressure. It's 84 inches long, so and it's right in the center. So if you got to pick it up, I got to pick it up to get it outside to grind the top off to get the aggregate exposed. And so I got some river rock on the top of it that I want to get exposed, and then I'll sand down the inlay. And then I also have the epoxy coffee table that I've been working on for a while. I'm sure my wife would like to have that in the house, so I got to get the legs on it and then get it done. So when the concrete countertop goes outside, I'll start working on it. I got to do a inset the legs, put the bottom piece on, and then the feet. And I should be done with that pretty quickly. Some shop organization. I just got the dust collector up. Well, the dust collector's been up, but the extraction and the hose, the Rockler hose, I hooked it up and I hard lined it all in. So that way I get better dust collection out of it, and checking the CFMs off from it, just kind of see what I'm getting off from it. And but I got it run overhead. So the reel is in front, but the hose is overhead. So that way when you're sanding, you're not sitting there dragging your hose across your stuff that you're sanding and stuff like that. So I like it to be overhead. And I'm running a power cord to come right along with it. So working on that a little bit. That's about it. What about you there, Mustachio?
Me, let's see. I'm forgetting what I announced on Friday that I was doing, so I'll just repeat it.
Repeat.
I am working in the shop on the laser enclosure for the Acmer. I have the back wall inside the cabinet done. I'm working on the drawer. I had a piece of plywood that was very, very David Bowie, and I ended up cutting that down the middle and kind of flattened that out. And I had some tiny cutoffs of maple because I don't throw any scraps out. So I was able to just kind of throw some wood in there and glue it all up. And I think that'll be a lot flatter now. So I got to build the platform for that because the laser will go on top of, it'll kind of be on a platform, and that way I can just remove the honeycomb and I'll have the tumbler, or I'm sorry, the rotary below to just do some tumblers and stuff if I need to. And I think I'm gonna stain the plywood and do some unnecessary black walnut on part of it, because
There you go.
that's required, so
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that we're maybe I gotta do some renovations on the top of the wall in the shop, because I want to turn that into an actual wall. It's just that 1 inch like pink board that's up there. So once I can get that done, then I can finish running the 4-inch line over to that wall, and then I can run the power line for the joiner, and hopefully by that point I'll see how screwed I am in terms of space with doing things in there. But yeah. That's it for me. Steve, what do you got in the works?
So last week, I think I mentioned, actually, we weren't here last week, but last week I was designing up a drill press cabinet to go underneath my floor standing drill press. Got that all done up in SketchUp and moved into starting to cut parts out and everything. Got to the point, got them edge banded. Now I just need to actually start assembling the cabinet. I got to finish it with some dominoes and get that squared away. But beyond that, I got a few new things in the shop this week. So I had done the intro to hand plane class for the CMP college for our patrons. And one of the things that they also wanted me to do was a class on sharpening. So I kind of used that opportunity to get a couple new things into the shop. So I went over to KM Tools and I picked up their new, for those people on the video, the Universal Sharpening Guide. And I picked up some of their Zenwu. I think these are the Pro Sharp. They're the diamond stones that are laminated onto an aluminum plate. And I also picked up their Scary Sharp sandpaper. So I'm going to give these a try and see if I might be able to use these for that patron online sharpening class. But yeah, that's pretty much what I got going this week in the shop. So again, we'd like to welcome Russell to the show, and we're going to pass it over to him. And Russell, for those of you, those in the audience who may not know who you are or what you do, can you give them a brief background?
Sure. I've been woodworking like since I was just a little kid. I mean, it's always been something. I wouldn't say I was good at it, but I was building my first pieces of furniture probably in middle school. I got my first table saw when I was 13, which was a bad idea. I almost lost my thumb 2 days into having it. I still got some nice scars on my thumb where I reached across a spinning blade to grab a tape measure and just like a ding, 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 and you could hear like the blades like kind of, it was coasting down, so you could just hear that like ding, 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 like as it hit my bone. So, but I kept with it. So I saw my thumb, and I started taking it probably. I mean, I was always building stuff, and I was out there just kind of messing around, cutting up 2x4s and turning them into little tables or stuff. I took shop classes 7th and 8th grade, then they didn't offer it in high school, so I was kind of on my own for learning how to do it. Watched a lot of New Yankee Workshop and just really delved into like Fine Woodworking magazine. And do you guys remember the old web series? It was the Tommy Mac guy. It was T Chisel.
I remember like Tommy Mac. I don't remember that one.
Okay,
though.
So he had a whole web series where he built it was a Bombay secretary desk. And I watched him build that thing. I was like, I learned more doing that. And that's when I was really like, okay, I'm going to build some like legit furniture. Like I'd always built stuff that was like nice, but now I want to like really take it to the next level. So that's when I started building things that were really more high end, really elevated my game. I started pushing everything, and I've started like basically everything that I build for my house or my end is always something that is beyond my current skill set. So I can kind of teach myself and train myself. And then I can take that knowledge and build for clients. So now when I do client builds, I tend to stick to really high-end bespoke furniture, one-offs. I don't have like a furniture line or anything. It's, you know, designers coming up with different designs like, hey, can you pull this off? And the stuff I'm building for my house, I try to focus on more Art Deco stuff because it seems to be the most challenging right now. There's not a lot of information out there about how to build Art Deco. There's a lot of stuff about, you know, building arts and crafts or even building like old period furniture from like the 18th century. Like that stuff is really easy to find information on how they did it and reproduce it. But for some reason, the deco stuff is just kind of like not there. So I find that challenging to figure out how to make a lot of their crazy curves and designs that they did in their furniture. So yeah, I mean, that's my primary focus is high-end crazy stuff that is going to push my limits. And I'm completely self-taught. I never took a woodworking class.
Really?
And I've been doing it forever. Yeah. I mean, I've watched YouTube and read a lot of magazines, and you do figure out a lot doing that. But really, I think getting in the shop and doing it is by far the best way to start learning. But then there's things like you were saying earlier with a cheap hand plane. You know, if you're teaching yourself and you pick up this cheap hand plane, you go, well, this is just how it is. I don't know any better. I don't understand that there's a better way to do it. And then when you have a teacher show you like, no, this is actually the way it's supposed to feel. This is the way it's supposed to be done. You learn the correct way, the proper way. And I think you can gain a lot of knowledge that way. And I unfortunately had to go the hard way the whole way. So, yeah.
You know, just saying that, but it goes back to when I bought that cheap hand plane, then you have all these motorized tools, right, in the shop that do the same process and make it easier. So you're just like, you don't want to do that, right? And I was real young into my hobby, right? And now, you know, fast forward, being able to do that and use a good hand plane, it's so enjoyable. Even if you're just like Steve does, get in there and just shave wood. It's just enjoyable with a good.
Oh yeah, it's very therapeutic, and it just is like you feel very accomplished. Like one shaving, you didn't do anything, but it's like, oh, that feels good. Like I made something there. I did something really unique or great. But like for you're saying with power tools, like I started out with the crappiest of crappy tools. Like I had Black & Decker tools from Target when I was a little kid. Like I had a jigsaw that I had like 8 splices in the cord through the cord. And that was the same thing. I'd get really frustrated with those tools because they were crappy tools. I still, if someone's like, oh, I'm brand new to woodworking, what should I buy? I still tell them, go buy the crappy tool. Go to Harbor Freight and get the cheapest thing you can, because if you can learn how to make something good with that and figure it out, you're going to pick up the good tool and know all the tricks already to make that tool work even better. And then you're going to be like way ahead of the game.
Yep.
So,
yeah, it's funny you say that. We were going through the back barn last week or so, and I found the old Black & Decker jigsaw, and it has electrical tape holding the cord onto the plastic case. I mean, even an old router. And I was like, oh man, this is where, when we moved over here, I just threw everything in a tote. Cause you know, that's stuff that was handed down to me by my dad. Right. And it's just old crap that's in there. And I've started going through it, and it brought back memories, like, you know, compared to where I started to now, you know, it's like, but I still have them. I didn't plug it in because I was kind of scared to probably burn up, but you know.
Yeah, probably not a good idea.
So
nice. So, I've been doing a lot of the bespoke stuff, and then a couple of years ago, or like 6 years ago, I got the opportunity to build a 17th or 18th century secretary desk, it's a block front desk. So that's got like the front drawers have like kind of, they go in and out. It's not wavy, it's blocked, so they're more squared in and out. And then it's got a bunch of hand carved stuff on there, carved shells. The gallery had like 18 drawers, a bunch of hidden compartments. And a friend of mine was a woodworker. This was in Ohio, and he's like, a client approached me and said, hey, will you build me this desk? He's like, I've been obsessed with it. I tried building it myself. I got the 2 cases built without even like the angles cut for the desk yet. Like, just I've just got 2 boxes and I need someone to finish it because I realized I'm way out of my depth. And my friend, his name's David Buff. And if you guys are bored, go check out his old Instagram stuff. I don't think he's posting anything anymore, but he does all period stuff. And it's like just top tier, you know, I mean, like really crazy. And he's like, you could build this. I'm like, you're out of your mind. I could not, there's no way I could make this thing. He's like, oh yeah, I've seen what you can do. You're fine. So he gets me the plans from Yale, and Yale had measured the original desk. And I spent 6 months slowly building this entire desk and clock from the 2 boxes that he had, and which were actually, it was a curse to have the boxes that the original client had made because they weren't square. And the actual box was square this way, but in this way. So the drawers wouldn't work right. So I had to plane out the inside of the drawers just to get like, or plane out the inside of the casework to get it to be square enough that I could get a drawer to go in and out of them. But that was like, once I did that, I was like, okay, yeah, you throw me whatever you want. I should be able to build it at this point.
Amazing.
So your style that you prefer is Art Deco. And for
Yeah,
anybody who's not
100%.
familiar with that, correct me if I'm wrong. It's kind of from like the 1920s, 1930s, kind of bold geometric luxury materials, very symmetrical, modern, high gloss, lots of brass accents and geometric patterns. What is it that made you kind of focus on that? What is it about that style that really drew you to it, as opposed to things like Shaker or Arts and Crafts or any of the others?
Right. So I'd built a lot of Shaker and Arts and Crafts stuff before that. And honestly, I was getting kind of bored. I needed like the challenge of the curves of Art Deco. Like it's all a lot of complex geometry. It's not like, oh, I'm just building a chest of drawers and it's square. It's got like, you know, a rounded corner on the top, and there's different aspects of it that aren't like, it's not so straightforward. It's just all so different than any other furniture that's out there. And that's because I think that a lot of that was because it was starting to be in factories, so they could build like a big jig or whatever and just rip out like a bunch of them. And there weren't like small shops building these with the types of tools we have in our shops now. It's more of a challenge to build that same stuff on that smaller scale. And like I was saying earlier too, that there's not a lot of information on it. You know, you kind of have to figure it out yourself. If you want to build a Shaker table, like you can find hundreds of books to tell you exactly how to build a shaker table. And same with Arts and Crafts. Like it's all just really basic, like, and even like all the older stuff. I mean, I was building that secretary desk. I'm like, all right, how do I carve a flame finial? And I Google it, and there's like, 40 tutorials on how to carve that. So, but Google how to make a torpedo leg, and you might find 2 articles. And torpedo leg looks like a torpedo, but it's faceted. So it's an octagon all the way around. And then it's got strips on each of the actual facets of a different color of wood. So it's not something like you can't just like, oh, I'm just going to cut a piece of wood that shape. Like you have to figure out how you're going to, all the different processes to get to where you need to be. So that's why I think I've gone towards Art Deco so much. It's just, and it's a really cool style. It's really pretty, really unique. It like you were saying, it's really high gloss or like really high end veneers and stuff like that. So it looks fancy. It looks like you're like, really opulent or kind of over the top without being like gaudy, Yeah.
So with things like that torpedo leg, is that a bunch of different glue ups of solid wood, or are all of those different woods that you're using, or are those more of a veneer that you're gluing on?
Right. So there's 2 ways to do it. One way is that you build the leg out of a substrate. First you turn it on the lathe, so you get your general torpedo shape, and then you take a hand plane and you cut in the facets, so that you're basically flattening out the top and the bottom, the sides, and then you're making an octagon out of that torpedo shape. And then you would veneer on that, which is not easy. I mean, veneering on a bent taper, and you have to have like a separate strip of color on each one of the corners. It's not an easy thing. The way I did them, and I've seen this done too. I mean, this seems like a little more of a unique way of doing it, I think. So what I did is I glued up just a blank, cut it right in half, and I glued a piece of maple in. and the blank was made out of walnut, and then I cut it again this way and glued another piece of maple in, and then I cut them again on the 45 and glued another piece, and the same thing. And the trick with doing it this way then is then when I get it on the lathe, everything has to be dead center, because you need all your stripes of your maple to line up. Whereas if you just did like a substrate and, you know, made your initial shape, it doesn't have to be all that accurate. Whereas my glue ups had to be like dead on. So I got it so that, you know, it's all glued up in a block, and then I put it on the lathe and make the torpedo shape. And I sat there with a hand plane and just slowly worked the facets down, making sure that I didn't go too far, because if you go too far, you've left your piece of maple and gone into the next part of walnut. So it's a little complicated, but
I'm looking at that picture on Instagram, and that is absolutely amazing, beautiful work.
Oh, thank you.
That's wild. That is wild.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And to get two of them to match, because they're right at the forefront of that piece of furniture.
Oh, I mean, and all four of them are like dead nuts. They're all four are perfectly the same. And then did you notice that on the top there's a little wooden ball?
Yeah.
Okay. So you think, oh, it's just a wooden ball. It's not that hard. Like, try turning a ball on the lathe. Like, it is. There are people that, and especially when this is the size of a marble, like, it's not easy. So I made a jig that has it sits flat on the bed of the lathe, and there's a little hole in it. And I took a hole saw that I had attached to like a handle. And so while the lathe is spinning this way, you take your hole saw and you push it through the jig, and it holds the hole saw tight and goes in, and it cuts a perfect ball every time. And they're all the same.
Wow.
It's one of those things you look at, you're like, this isn't going to work. There's no way. Like, it doesn't make sense. And you start doing it, you're like, oh my God, you can see it. And then there's just a perfect ball pops out. Because then I did on the handles of that.
Yeah.
So I had to make a bunch of them. They all had to be the same size. So, yeah.
Wow. That's cool. That's repetitive. The one that really blows my mind is the Purple Heart furniture. Is that Purple Heart, right? In those, nightstands.
There's so that's a bedroom set. That's our bedroom set. I've got two nightstands that are pretty Art Deco, and then a headboard, and it's called a lingerie chest. It's really just got, you know, like shirts and stuff in it, but they call it that because it's a really thin chest. It's only like 16 inches wide, but it's about 5 feet tall, and it's a chest of drawers. And that has Purple Heart and maple. And everyone, I know like a lot of people, like I start making like, oh, Purple Heart's just so gross, and I don't like it, and it's going to turn brown. There are a bunch of different kinds of Purple Heart out there. If you look for certain ones that almost look a little more red, they don't turn brown. I've had those in my bedroom for, I mean, one of the pieces has been in there for like 15 years, and it's still got a purple hue to it. So it doesn't all turn brown. You have to find the right kind, and it will stay purple. And if you don't use too much of it, it looks really cool. So
I'm just mesmerized by the quilting in those. I mean, it's beautiful. Just
that was some really, really nice maple I got my hands on there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Awesome work. Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. Amazing.
It is all of that stuff. I was just going through it, and I'm like, whoa. That's pretty.
I mean, you talk about the attention to detail, and I got to bring up one of the little projects that you've done that still I find is a great little project. It's your business card holder. Speaking of
which I was going to bring, and I totally forgot. Right? Yeah, it has some Purple Heart on it. It's a business card holder that I wanted to be able to, like, you know, if you pull out your card and give it to a client or someone you meet, you almost should be able to show them your work to some degree right there. So I built this little business card holder, and I wanted to be able to hold like more than 3 cards, but not be massive in my pocket. So I made the sides are made out of shop-made plywood, and the shop-made plywood's a 1/16 of an inch thick finished, and it's 3-ply. So there's an interior ply of Purple Heart, and I can't remember what the numbers worked out to be, but it was like a 32nd, or it was just under a 32nd. Yeah. And then I did shop-made veneer maple on both sides of that, and those were the sides of the box. So it's actually very strong, but again, it's only maybe a 1/16 of an inch thick on each side, and that holds all the cards. And then the sides of the actual box, the structural part, those are dovetailed together on the bottom with dovetails that are probably 1/4 of an inch, maybe smaller. I mean,
this man hand-cut dovetails for a business card holder. That's
that
awesome.
yeah, and it goes
And it
in
looks
your pocket.
amazing
Like
if
you
you've
can,
never seen it.
yeah, you could. It's on my Instagram, yeah, but you could carry it like a wallet. Like you could put your credit cards and some cash in there, and like it would really. It's not that big. That was my biggest thing because I didn't want to make something like that. Like, oh, this is cool, but you have to put this giant box in your pocket every time. Like it's actually very comfortable to carry around with you. So yeah, that was a cool one.
So now you kind of work mostly with hand tools, right? I mean, I'm assuming you have some power tools in the shop, or no? Yes.
No, a lot of power tools. I would say
Okay.
I'm full on hybrid.
Okay.
I don't prep stock by hand, only if it's so on that secretary desk. The lid was like 22 inches wide, so I had to hand plane that flat and do that. But other than that, I don't dimension lumber by hand. A lot of my joints are cut on the table saw, or cut with a domino or whatever. And then if it's cut on the table saw, I'll fine tune it with the hand tools. I'll go in with a shoulder plane and touch up the shoulders, or a chisel, work the dados or whatever. I use hand planes a lot for the finish work. So even something as simple like, say you're building some shaker cabinets, before I put the cabinet doors together, I'll take all the interior edges, put them on my bench, and just swipe them once with a smoother plane, so that when you glue the whole door together, all the interior edges that you would normally sit there and screw with trying to sand forever are already finished, because they've had that final swipe with the hand plane. And that does two good things. It's like, it saves you all that sanding time, but it keeps the joint really square and tight, so you don't lose any of that kind of rounding over you get if you were trying to sand all that stuff beforehand and then glue it together. So yeah, I'll use the hand tools for that. And then I've done some carving stuff too. And then I'll do dovetails. Those are all hand cut. I don't use a machine for my dovetails. I don't do like a whole kitchen of dovetails, so it wouldn't even make sense for me to get out the jig. By the time you got the jig out and started using it, I would have the drawer cut with hand tools anyway. So. Yep.
So what is your go-to?
Sorry, go ahead.
What is the we're talking about hand planes. I got to know what is your preferred brand of hand tool that you would recommend somebody getting into?
I'd say go buy a Wood River plane. I've had great luck with the Wood Rivers. You know what though, their blades suck. Like, go buy a Wood River plane and throw the blade away immediately and get like an IBC or I know Temple Tools. They just have the new blades on hand, and I think those would be really cool.
Are they out already? I haven't kept up. Are they out yet?
I don't know.
It might be, actually. He's been posting a lot about them, and I think he has them for most planes. And that's the cool thing with the Wood Rivers are just a typical Stanley size. I mean, they'll fit any bedrock blade, so it's not like something that's hard to get your hands on. But yeah, I'm pretty sure they're out. If they're not, just wait. Like, they'll be out in the next month or two, and that'd be worth it. I think those blades are gonna be really good. But I use the PMV11 blades in all mine right now from Veritas, which I like those blades. I like Veritas tools a lot. I have Lee Nielsen chisels, so I'm kind of all over on that. I don't think that I don't have a lot of brand loyalty. I'm not like, oh, this is it. Only buy Lee Nielsen. Nothing else is good. Like, each tool company makes their specific or one tool really well, and I'll stick with that. So,
just to let everybody know, Temple Tools does support this show, so their blades are out and available.
I was just going to tell you that. Yep.
So we like to, they support us, so we'll put it out there that they are available. So there you go. I did get some of their chisels, their hand chisels. I don't know if you've tried them yet or not. Pretty nice set. But again, like, I'm like you. I mean, Steve has convinced us to buy all these different brands, and we just got all sorts of
bio.
Link in the bio. Link in the bio.
About it, and we end up with all these different tools. Russell, I mean, it's crazy. How many?
Yeah, well, I was talking to Temple Tools at Workbench Con, and it's like, I can't do the pull saws, and he sent me a bunch of saws to try out, and I've used them, and they're great, and that's forever my new flush cut saw. But I just don't think I'll be cutting dovetails with a pull saw. I tried, and I've already learned too much with a Western saw to switch over. One thing with a Western saw is, obviously you're pushing versus pulling, but you're holding so much closer to the blade. So every time I take my Japanese saw and I go to cut, blade goes right off the board, and then I land on the handle because I'm used to my hand being so much closer to the blade. So like I have to scoot back further from my work than I'm used to. And then I really like, I can tell if a saw is 90 by holding it in my hand if it's a Western saw. But then when I have a Japanese saw, since it's a round handle, I just can't immediately register that 90.
Right.
So for me, like I said, they're really high quality saws, and that's the one flush cut saw I will always use from now on. It's the one he sent me, but I just can't unlearn my push saw ways. It's too hard. But I think if you were getting into it, that would be a great set of saws to get, because they're not super expensive. Like a good Western saw is expensive. And if you were just learning, you wouldn't have all those habits I've already developed, and that'd be a great way to go. It's just to get his saws and go for it.
That's some good information. I mean, that going to that, what Western saws do you recommend, since we're on that topic?
Well, I've got a Florup saw, which I don't think they're even making them anymore. I think it's totally done. Yeah. I've got a couple of Veritas saws. Those are actually really good. They have it's like a polymer with like, it's almost like a plexiglass kind of weird polymer on top of the blade. And they work really well. They're good saws, and they're not very expensive. I'd love to have a whole set of bad axe saws and stuff, but it's not really necessary for me. I think a lot of these, there's a working saw, and then there's the hobby saw, and the hobby saw is typically the more expensive saw because you can go spend a ton of money on it because it's your hobby and it's fun, and you want the really, really nice saw. The working saw will do everything that does. It just doesn't look as pretty. I think a lot of tools are like that. This tool will do everything that tool will do. Like my Wood River plane, I've used Lee Nielsen #4, and I've used my Wood River #4, and I can't tell the difference for actual functionality. But they're both the Lee Nielsen is just a prettier plane. It's just a much nicer thing to have in your shop. And if that's what you're going for, is like the hobbyist as part of it is collecting tools, then that's what you would be doing.
We're good at that. We're good at collecting tools.
Yes, we are.
No, I mean that's a part of it. Like we all have to love tools to be doing this kind of stuff. If you didn't like it, you wouldn't. Like it's kind of like, if not this, then you can't have that. Like you have to like tools to be able to do this stuff. Otherwise, you're not going to be as into it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean yeah. I'll stop at that, because if my wife's listening, she's going to chime in.
So, Russell, I have a question. You have all this amazing woodworking stuff you do, and the first thing that I noticed, I mean, I did notice the amazing woodworking, trust me, was your blast gates for your dust collection. Okay.
The wooden ones?
I don't know. Yes.
Okay.
I also, all mine are wood as well. And the reason I
Yeah.
did it was because all the blast gates I bought had leaks, or they just didn't hold. It's just, I just didn't like it. What was the reasoning for you to go to wood blast gates?
Well, 6-inch blast gate, if you buy a metal one, is like what, like $90 or something ridiculous.
Depending on the
It
brand.
was cost.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like, and then you could go to like the full automated stuff that's just completely outrageous. $300-400 for a blast gate. No. So
Yeah,
I
that
don't
don't even
mind.
give you the blast gate. Well, on one it does, but I'm going through that contemplation right now. Matt and I were talking about it before everybody got in here, and again, Steve's been trying to persuade me to do it, and I'm fighting him on that.
And I'm totally, I think that the building of the blast gate, first of all, you customize it exactly how you want it to look, which I think yours look amazing. You have those little
okay, mine were scrap plywood like there.
But you have some finishing touches on them. It makes them look good. And
Yeah.
And I found the wooden blast gates actually, it pulls a suction better, and you don't lose as much vacuum to your other stuff. So the aluminum ones,
I mean,
horrible.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of those old plastic ones for my 4-inch gates. Like the ones you get at Rockler. They're just, I mean, they're not great. You can make them really good. So what I'll do is I'll take the plastic one, like it's like a square part where the gate goes in and out, and I clip the corners off, because that's the biggest thing is they fill up with sawdust and they won't close all the way. So if you clip the corners off, when they start to get that way, you can stick an air compressor in there and blow it in, and it cleans it all out. So I clip the corners off, and then I put pop rivets down the sides of the seams so they never fall apart. And then they're not bad, but they leak like crazy. Like I'll turn on my whole system. If I close all my gates, I can hear all the plastic gates just whistling. And the wooden gates they're totally sealed.
Yeah, those black blast gates are notorious for just falling apart because after a while, sitting under pressure, they just split apart. And again, it's like, again, like anything, how much money do you want to spend? Because I mean,
especially
the sky's the limit
collection
on some of that stuff. Boy, yeah, that thing is. They're everywhere. Hence why I'm printing stuff, because you need custom pieces and it's hard to find them, or you got to buy so many adapters just to adapt down. That's just what's good about a 3D printer. You can just mic stuff and boom, design it, ready to go, custom fit, and
absolutely
cheap. You know, a couple of bucks to print it. Done. You know.
Yeah, I mean, like even just the piping, like sewer and drain pipe has gotten really expensive.
Oh, it went from $10
everything's
for
expensive.
Yeah.
Like I think I saw.
Go ahead.
I think I saw a 6-inch Y at Home Depot the other day for $100.
Yes,
and I was like, "Whoa, this is insane!" Like that. So, this used to be the cheap option.
I needed some 45s, and I didn't want to try again. I was there. And I went to pick up something else, so I just grabbed some. The 45s were for 6-inch. I want to say were the cheapest fitting that was there, and they were, I think, $27 a piece. Back before the big crazy thing that happened in 2020, you used to be able to get I think they're 10-foot joints of 6-inch pipe. I think they were around $12 or something. Something it wasn't very much.
It was the stupid cheap stuff.
Now it's stupid crazy. Any fitting, $45 plus. If you find them cheap, they're expensive. But again, though, it's still cheaper than metal. It is, because the metal fittings, those things are going to cost you a couple of $100, $150, $200. Per fitting, depending on the size of pipe. If you go 4-inch, it's a little cheaper, but if you're doing something serious, it's 6-inch pipe and stuff, man, those things get real pricey real quick.
And when you look at all the fittings you need for a whole shop, I mean, I've probably got 20 or 30 fittings in the shop. Like, you can spend a small fortune just on your dust collection. It's just not worth it. I mean, the dust collection part is worth it, like their safety part. I actually have a really bad wood allergy. I'm super allergic to pine, and all plywood has pine. Like all the new Baltic birches are like, oh yeah, it's all birch. No, there's pine in there, and I can tell you because I've got hives and I'm sneezing because I cut that plywood up. So I took the dust collection very seriously. I've got a good collector, and everything's 6-inch all the way to the tool, where it either splits into 2 4s or it's reduced to a 4 that's like maybe this far from the tool. And I luckily bought all my pipe right before COVID happened, so I didn't have to deal with this ridiculous prices. But it's insane. Like my system now, I could sell it used on Facebook for twice what I paid for it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's insane to me.
It's everything has gone up, and that especially. That's one thing that, because I was looking into metal piping, and then after I started pricing everything out, I'm like, I have all this pipe sitting up here. Why don't I utilize it? It's there, it's bought and paid for, and I got it real cheap. So I'm just going forward with that. I mean, it'll work. It's 6-inch pipe. I mean, it's gonna be fine. I'm not gonna have any issues. So but that's what I've been working on. Just the fittings, reducing everything down to fit these gates. These are the problem is everything's different sizing, and you just got to get everything to work right so it's sealed up correctly.
So one thing you can do with PVC is you can take a heat gun and heat it up with a pipe clamp on it, or like a hose clamp, and put your fitting in there if it's a little loose. Normally the metal ones are a little loose. Just keep heating it up and then start cranking that fitting down a little bit on it. and eventually you'll shrink it down. You can shrink it about a half an inch, and
Mhm.
it'll seal to the so you don't have to build a fitting. You can just shrink your pipe.
Man, I didn't even think about putting a
Do it
dang
outside.
clamp.
The
Yeah,
fumes are not good, but
close
do it
clamp and
outside. Get a heat gun and just start. Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Just
should
shrink it down to get a
even
half
be able
inch.
to stretch it too if you needed just a smidge.
Yes, you can stretch
wider.
it too.
Yep.
I mean, I've been
Mm-hmm.
just like electrical conduit that I've put, run out of PVC. I mean, I'll put the heat gun or the torch to it, get it hot and make curves or whatever. But I never even thought about putting a dang clamp on that to bring that down to a perfect size.
So I did the extractor the other day, and to that hose reel, and it was just, I mean, it was like the outside diameter was exactly the same size, but the inside diameter, I had more to go to it, so I put it inside the lathe, and I just trimmed it down with the lathe just a little bit, snuck it right to it. It was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
More than one way to skin a cat.
Exactly.
I wouldn't even have thought about that, chucking
That's
it up
right.
in there and turning it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Plastic turns really well too, especially with
Yes,
like a
it does.
traditional tool. Like you get nice little ribbons.
Mm-hmm.
Learn something every day. I mean, I'd never even thought about that with the clamp.
That's right.
I was messing with that the other day while we were just hanging out. I was trying to mess with the piece, but I finally got frustrated. I threw it aside. I'm like, yeah, I'll just 3D print something.
So speaking about vacuum and everything with dust collection, vacuuming, vacuum presses, I've heard that you're utilizing some of the anchor pods in your traditional workbench. How have you incorporated those into your workbench? Because this is actually a conversation that Joey and I and a bunch of us have had a number of times, because Joey's thinking about building a bench. I got a couple benches I want to build, and we're trying to figure out whether we're going with the 3/4 or whether we're sticking with the 20 millimeter, because we've got all this other stuff that's 20 millimeter. So tell us a little bit about your workbench and how that's.
Yeah, I've got a split top Rubo. It's I think it's 4-inch thick top, and it's made with southern yellow pine. I really like the southern yellow pine because it's a little softer. A lot of guys make it on maple, but I always tend to put a project down on the bench, and there's like a chip or something from another piece of wood, and if your bench is harder than your project, it'll dent your project. If your project is harder than your bench, it'll dent the bench. So I went with the southern yellow pine, and it's still very hard. Probably weighs like 400 or 500 pounds, the whole bench. It's 7 feet long and 2 feet wide. And I use a vacuum setup from the 3D Forge. And he sent me the 3/4 inch pods, because I had all 3/4 inch dog holes. I didn't do square dogs. I did round dog holes. I know a lot of the traditional benches have all square dogs on the tail vise or the wagon vise run.
Yep.
Right.
I did round on that just because there's so many things out there for 3/4 inch like accessories. Now there's so many for 20 millimeter. Yeah. When I built my bench, that stuff existed. Festool was a thing, but it wasn't like it is now, where there was all these other supporting companies coming in building stuff for the MFT tables. So I went with 3/4 inch holes, and it's a lot easier to get a 3/4 inch auger to drill through a 4-inch bench than it is a 20 mil. Because you can't really do it with a Forstner bit. You have to have a big auger to go through that. But I used the pods on there. And that's the thing, is like, just because it's a traditional workbench doesn't mean it has to be all traditional holding.
Correct.
Putting the pods in the dog holes, and I've even clamped the pods, because I've got a wagon vise, so I've got 2 dogs sticking up, and I can clamp the pod between those, so it's stuck to the bench, and then I can use that to just quick release and go. So if I'm dominoing stuff, I'll set 2 or 3 different pod setups, have them all ready. And then, because, say I'm dominoing all the legs and then all the aprons, I need different, like the legs are going on this way. So I'll have 2 pods, one in front, one in back. They'll go down, I'll sip in the dominoes. And then the aprons will go on 2 more pods, or maybe this pod and the next one down the bench. Same thing, drop them down, go. Whereas before I was sitting there with a wagon vise and, loosening the vise, putting it in, tightening the vise. Now I'm just like clicking a button, flipping them in and out. It's really fast. It's awesome. I have a really big pump from because I have a vacuum press for all the veneer work I do. So that probably makes it a little better because that thing it sucks it down where you cannot move the piece of wood off there at all. Like I could probably drag the bench around the shop with that.
That'd be a good video.
It's shockingly strong. Yeah, I mean, so I've got a leg vise on my bench, which is always like, this is the strongest type of vise that you can do for work holding and stuff. And they are probably as strong as my leg vise as far as holding stuff to the bench. I want to do a way to mount them to the front too. The whole front of my bench is flush. That's the big thing with the Rubo bench is the legs aren't set back or anything. You can clamp things to the legs and it'll still clamp to the front of the top. So I was thinking about it the other day, maybe doing an inset so that the pod is flush too. So I can just suck something right to the front of the bench, like a whole tabletop, which is going.
That is
and then
a
the
damn
pods are
good
just built
idea.
in. Now, what gave me that idea is I've got those anchor pod, like it's like the bench dog that has the vacuum hose at the bottom.
Yep.
I'll put those. I've got a few dog holes in the leg of my bench, and I had that on there, and I was doing that same thing. But you have like a little gasket material that you put down on top of the bench when you do that. Well, the gasket material was kind of slipping, so I just put a little piece of tape to hold it in place. And like I said, the pump is strong enough that even that little leak, it still sucked it right to the thing. But I had a piece of wood just slammed to the front of the bench without moving. I'm like, oh, I could just, engineer something like this so it's built in all the time and just ready to go.
Wow.
There's a lot of guys that say you shouldn't throw too many gizmos on your bench or too many vices on your bench, but I think you can do as many as you want. You can have 1,000 on there as long as you're actually using them. I think people, I got like 8 vices on my bench, but I only use this one. That's the kind of the mentality where it's like, yeah, you don't need all that stuff, but if you need it, like put it on there. If you can find a use for it, get it in there. I mean, I've probably got like 10 hold-fast holes on the top of my bench because I use them for different things. Some guys only have one hold-fast hole, but now the hold-fast, I haven't used them since I had the vacuum pods because they do the exact same thing the hold-fast will do. Another thing I want to do is I want to do a carving thing with one of the little 4-inch pods. Have you seen a carving vise where it has like a ball joint and it's articulates, but it's got a piece of wood on the top and you screw your carving into the piece of wood.
Right.
I'm like, put the vacuum pod on there and vacuum down what you're carving. And then you can articulate it or whatever. And like when I was doing that desk, I was doing a couple of the shelves. My friend David carved some of the shelves and I carved the other ones because it's a lot of carving. Like each one of those shelves would take like a day and a half's work. So he helped me out there. But when you're doing it, you have it on your bench and you're clamping it down, and then you work the one part of the shelf, and then you have to turn it 5 degrees to do the next one, and turn it 5 degrees and do the next one. So you're just constantly unclamping and reclamping and just screwing with it. Whereas if I had the vacuum pod, I could have a pedal, and I would have just pushed the button, turned it, let go, carved, and just been able to rip through it so much faster. So they definitely have speed up your work holding a lot. It's not like, oh, I would never be able to hold this without a vacuum pod. It's like I wouldn't ever be able to hold it this fast and be able to move through my project this quickly.
Tyler opened up a lot of avenues with his design, and we fully support him, and it's great.
Sponsor of the show.
Sponsor of the show.
Yeah.
So
I told him I was going to be on here. It's like, oh, I'm sponsoring it. I'm like, oh, cool.
But we give him a little hell every now and then. He still doesn't have a Contour, which is a bad thing, but he'll get there one of these days. I just had to throw that in there. If he's in here, he'll respond in a minute.
Oh yeah,
he will. I don't think he is.
Absolutely will. Is he in here?
It'll get him out. It'll get him fired up. But
no, he's a good dude. And he's got like great ideas on his products, and I mean, it's definitely a useful thing to have in the shop. And you don't need like a crazy vacuum press. Like I happen to have a really nice vacuum press that I bought for something totally different. Now I'm using it for this. I've seen guys taking, and Tyler's like, no, you can't do that. I don't think it's a good idea. But get like a really crappy air compressor. And if you take the intake side and you put it to a hose, apparently it'll pull enough vacuum to use vacuum pod to hold stuff. So as long as you're not like overworking your duty cycle, you can do it. You just have to be a little more careful.
Interesting.
But even if you just have a compressor in the shop, you might be able to just hook that on. Once you pull a vacuum, shut it off, so you're not working the duty cycle on the compressor too much. You can get into vacuum pods with what you probably already have sitting in your shop right now.
Interesting.
Interesting.
I mean, go ahead.
I was just going to say, you had mentioned you were using one of the anchor pods on your leg, and you were taping the gasket up. Have you thought about using like some of the gasket tiles that CNC users have that are just sticky on the back, and you just stick it right on there?
That's a good idea.
It's just
Or another thing you
those
could
are
use
pretty
is
squishy,
stripping.
aren't they?
yeah, they're a little squishy. It's kind of similar material to what they use on the pods.
Yeah, that'd probably work. I mean, honestly, I've never used a CNC. I've seen that stuff on TV or on YouTube and on Instagram. I've never touched it, so I don't have a lot of. But that's a really good idea. That would probably work really well. And you could probably use that same thing to do like custom gaskets, to cut custom gaskets for other setups on your bench or whatever you're using those
Absolutely
vacuum dogs for. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'm gonna have to incorporate that. Go ahead, Matt.
If you wanted a permanent one, you could always do like a small inlay and use weather stripping.
Yeah.
I've used weather stripping before. I kind of made my own vacuum table, I guess, and I used weather stripping for it, and it worked great, phenomenal. So,
yeah, I'm gonna have to.
And I think they actually
go ahead.
I think they sell like it's almost like an O-ring material kind of thing that you can you just cut like a little 1/4-inch groove and you put that in there, maybe 1/8-inch groove. Yeah. So you could. That'd be easy.
There's all sorts of stuff out on the market. I mean, when it comes to that, I'm definitely going to incorporate that, because that's one of the reasons I'm trying to get my shop back going, because I'm eager to build that hand tool bench. That's what my main focus is to get that done. I've been wanting to do it for years and finally sourced all the materials. So that was cool. I never even thought about incorporating that kind of stuff in it. I mean, the dog holes, but on the side of the legs, that's a dang good
because
idea.
a lot of guys, you've got like your you've got like 3 or 4 holes drilled down there for a hold fast if you're planing on the freight face. And I have like a what do they call it, the third arm or the dead man or whatever. Yes. I've got one of those, and you could do the exact same thing on there, which would be really nice when you're like doing a lot of end planing. I mean, say I'm gluing up the top, I always hand plane all the joints. Like after they come off the joiner, I'll put the 2 pieces of wood together and I'll run a piece so that I know it's like going to fit perfect every time. And sometimes I'll cut a little spring joint in there, and that's a pain with like using the dead man and the leg vise, trying to get those pieces together. Whereas if I could just have a vacuum set up over there, we just grab it on one end, not me like screwing with it, trying to get it up there and making sure it's like all perfectly aligned. Where if I could just take that aspect out of the whole process and make it go a lot faster.
Yeah, that's a dang good idea.
Yeah,
interesting.
And I've used them. It's not just on the bench. Like I put them on a stack of featherboards that I use. I have like 5 featherboards that are stacked up on top of each other for the bandsaw and stuff like that. If you're running tall pieces, and and you're always trying to put them in the miter slot, and tighten them down so they'll hold on there. And I've got a couple of magnetic featherboards too. Same thing. You put them down anywhere, but the magnets, they always slide. These ones aren't mag switch, like they're pre-mag switch. These are really old school, like where they've got like a little lever on the back to like lift them up. Magnets will slide on metal. The vacuum pods don't slide. So I screwed them to the bottom of these featherboards, and now I just stick it right where I need it, turn on the vacuum, and the featherboard's exactly where I need it. I'm not like adjusting it within the miter slot or waiting for it to slide the second I put pressure on it with the magnet. Like,
wow.
So that's a vacuum pod being used for a totally different reason.
Yeah. I never thought about that. That's a good idea. Wow.
Yeah. When I showed them on Instagram, a lot of people were like, well, just use magnets. They work so much better. I'm like, they don't though. They do slide, especially when you got a lot of pressure on them. And say you're resawing like a 12-inch tall piece of wood that's 6 feet long. You want to have a lot of pressure on there, because that's the last thing you need to be doing is pushing against the fence too. You're already dealing with wrangling this huge board through there. And the vacuum pods don't let it move. It just has them sucked up the featherboard right where it needs to be. So,
there you go, Tyler. A whole nother different avenue there, buddy. Get ready for some orders.
Yeah, Tyler,
I'm
it is
sure he's-
2026, so R&D can continue.
I showed him that one a while ago. He probably forgot about it, but yeah,
We'll
it's out
remind
there.
him.
Whoa, we'll
There you
definitely
go.
remind him.
There
Don't
you go.
worry about it. He's gonna get reminded. That's some good stuff, man.
Yeah.
Those are some good little tidbits there. I never would have even ever thought about trying it that way.
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean, there's a lot of different things that I'm sure I'll keep coming up with new ways to use it as I have them in my shop too. So, yeah.
So I want to go back to your secretary that you did with your hidden compartments and everything. Is that the 1st time you ever made anything with all the puzzle pieces and hidden compartments? And have you done any since?
Actually, the Art Deco one with the torpedo legs, there's
Yep.
a hidden compartment on that. That was my first viral video on Instagram, by the way. It was like one and only.
Nice.
And what it is you open the doors and then you take out there's 2 drawers inside of the doors. You take those out and then up and to the right there's this little like pull tab. You flip it open and there's like a little spot in there you can hide something. So it's nothing too fancy. But on the secretary desk, those notoriously that type of furniture always had a few hidden compartments. That's kind of like one of the calling cards. And the client was like, I want at least one. So the first ones I did, if it's called the gallery. When you open the desk up, there's all the little dividers and drawers and stuff in there. You take out the bottom drawer and all those. Each one of the bottom drawers, you would see like a little false bottom underneath there. It looks like a frame and panel, like a dust panel that you would find in like a chest of drawers or whatever. But instead of it actually being an attached panel, you reach in and you push on the back, and I cut out a little area so the pack would lift up, and you could grab that piece out, and then the whole area was hollow underneath there. So it just looked like a normal frame and panel underneath the door, like would normally be there, but you click it, you could hide stuff in there. And then the other parts were, there's a letter divider that holds like 3 letters, and there's 3 drawers on top of that. And I made that as one big unit that would actually, and it's got these like, so the way all that stuff goes together, it doesn't go like a normal dado. Like the whole gallery is together with mitered dados. So it's like a bird's mouth dado that goes in. So all of this is all bird's mouth together, but it slides out and you wouldn't even know it. So you can grab like all the letter dividers, and like a whole part of like whole gallery actually slides out. And then behind that, there was like a separate pocket for another hidden compartment. And now whenever I get the chance, I put them in there. I mean, if you do that for a client's piece, like, oh, I added you a hidden compartment in there, they're going to be like, this is awesome. Like, no one's going to be mad that you did that. You know, that's going to be super cool.
Right.
I did a hidden room once too, which was just like a big, it looked like a media cabinet. It like had a bunch of CDs and DVDs and like a little cabinets under, and it was just a door into like a storage room. So that was actually my first like hidden compartment, was that big door. And then I did them in the furniture.
I would love to make one of those. I just don't have a room that it could go to.
Yeah, you have to have like the perfect setup. I mean, it's not that like, oh yeah, everyone can have a hidden apartment, like, or a hidden room. But yeah, if you ever get the chance, it's super cool. I mean,
yeah,
we had like nothing in there. It was actually to reach the back of the stereo cabinet so you could wire the stereo for the home theater. So it wasn't like, it was like, oh yeah, there's a speakeasy back there. So there's like some storage and some wires. It was just like a cool way to go into that closet.
Cool.
What's your favorite project that you've done to date?
I really like the bedside tables with the Purple Heart and the curly maple. Those were like, I think the design of those was really unique. I don't know if you noticed, like there's 4 drawers, but it looks like there's only 2 handles, and it's because the handles are split. So the one drawer, it opens on the top of the drawer, and then the other part of the handle opens the bottom of the drawer. So it looks a lot cleaner. Like basically there's just 2 rounds with 4 drawers, and each round is cut in half. And so each half works part of the drawer. And I liked how it kind of waterfalled around. If you notice, there's like curves and it matched on the base. But I think my favorite is still the Art Deco table I did. It's like an entryway table, and the base is curved like a tulip almost.
Yes.
And that's all walnut. It's all Shots on veneer. It's all out of air dried walnut, and the The only part that's solid wood is the top, and the rest of it is all MDF cord. So I had a bunch of MDF laying around, like leftover from other projects, and I had a little bit of walnut. So it's like, how can I build something out of this? And it's like, there we go. Like, I'm going to veneer it. So I built that whole curve of the table is like blocked up pieces. Like, it looks like basically a brick wall that then I cut the round out of. So yeah, that's probably my favorite piece ever. That was also when I really like pushed myself and said, like, okay, what can I really build here? What is going to be something that you don't see every day?
Well, curves are difficult in wood to me. That's something that is, when you can accomplish that and it holds and doesn't fall apart, that's great. That's some great stuff. Love it.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, the curve stuff, you have to think so far ahead. It's like, I was building that leg, and if I just built it, like, great. But if I didn't say, okay, this is my absolute like zero, like this is my center on the bottom that everything squares off of, it would have looked like tipped, or it could have been, like the base could have been mounted on the wrong spot, or it could have there's so many things that could go wrong. So you have to like initially know, like, this is it, and you have to set it up with you when you're original layouts and build everything off of that and never deviate from that one line you set in the very beginning. And you have to remember to set that line in the very beginning, and all of that comes off of that one little part. That's what I like the most about the curve stuff, is that challenge of, like, you really have to think all the steps through. The whole build has to be in your mind or on paper before you even start, because you'll get to a point you're like, oh, I can't find where the square mark is anymore. Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah.
So
wild.
what is the next big thing that you're kind of wanting to work on to challenge yourself? Is there something?
Yeah, I've got a few things. I've definitely, so the bedroom set of the Purple Heart Maple, I want to finish a few things in there. I want to do a standing mirror. That's so there's Art Deco, and there's Art Nouveau, which is a little before that, and it's more curvy, a little more like based on nature and flowers. I want to do a mirror that's built more like Art Nouveau, but reminiscent of all the other pieces that are in that room. I also want to do a chest of drawers in there that has, like the Chrysler building has like the rounds, kind of like the cloud lifts almost.
Yep.
I want those on the dresser and veneered. So like the front will come up like the drawers, and then it'll peel back and then go up and go in to the top. And the sides will do the same thing. So I want to figure out how I'm going to veneer that and create that shape within a chest of drawers.
Cool.
Those are the two that I can think of real quick. And then I want to do a dining room table and chairs that match that sideboard with the torpedo legs. And the chairs will all the chairs, the front two legs will have torpedo legs. And then the backs will have kind of like a round shape to kind of play off of that sideboard. And then same with the table. The table will have 4 torpedo legs and have that same like checkered pattern that was, there's a designer, Ruhlman, who did like all this Art Deco stuff. And he used to use that checkered pattern, or that stripe pattern, with ivory and ebony normally. And I'm obviously not going to use ivory, so I went with maple and walnut. So it's going to have that like around the table. But those will be, I have to find time for those. I have an idea in my head for a Bombay secretary one day. And I always say that'll be my retirement piece, because I won't have time to work on anything else. Like, I'll just have to sit in the garage for a long time. Like what I have in my head, like a Bombay piece is just crazy in itself. If you don't know what like a Bombay is, but like the whole thing is kind of shaped like it's got like a big bulge on the bottom, and then the front's kind of serpentined with that bulge. So that in itself is hard enough, but I want the gallery to have those same bulges in it. So when you open the desk drawer, all the drawers will have like an undulating kind of feel to them too. But again, that's the retirement piece. Like I'll be thinking about that one for another 20 years before I build it.
Oh wow! I'm just looking that up. That looks really cool.
Have you ever had a piece that you had to give up on?
I haven't given up on anything yet. I've thrown away parts of a piece and rebuilt it.
Oh, we've all done
I
that.
Yeah. I had a piece for a designer, and it was for her house, and it was real simple. It's a white desk. It was like a like for in the bedroom, like a makeup desk kind of a thing that had like a little tilt-up lid. She's like, I'm gonna have my painter paint it. I'm like, great. So I built it. He painted it. We bring it over to her house, and she's like, oh, I have these pictures that are mounted that float off the wall 3 inches. So when you open the lid, it runs into the picture. Can you scoot the lid back, like change the way that it opens so it doesn't run into it? I'm like, okay, but we're gonna have to. I basically have to cut the whole desk apart and start over, like get all through. And she goes, okay, that's fine. I'll have my painter repaint it. I'm like, he didn't do a very good job. I'll just take care of it. It had like a bunch of drip marks and stuff. It really wasn't a very good painting job. So I rebuilt it in like a half a day, no big deal. And I go to repaint it. Whatever enamel or something he used on there had some kind of weird cure. It was probably like a 3-week cure where it was still off-gassing. So everything I sprayed on top of that damn thing kept bubbling or turning into like alligator skin or was orange peeling like crazy. And it had to be like a perfectly smooth white finish. It was like not an easy finish to apply anyway, to get like that glossy white, dead flat, just a nightmare. So I think it probably ended up having like 30 coats of different types of finishing paints that I had painted on and sanded. And I fought it for like a month. It was like every day I was like, oh, I'm going to go try this down there now. And I like spray something else. I'm like, well, that didn't work. I got to sand the whole thing back, do it again. So it was a nightmare. That was one project I truly wanted to just throw it in the trash, burn it, whatever. Like I didn't want to ever see it again, but it was for a client. So I had to like finish it. There was even a point though where I'm like, I'm just going to throw this one away and build a brand new one and just start fresh. Cause I know I can get like a white lacquer finish on it. It'll be fine, which probably would have been smarter to do in the first place, but it was horrible. I felt like crying. Like I'd never been like that defeated before.
After the first week, you should have just called her back and been like, you know what? I got really busy. I'll give this to your painter.
Yeah, I probably should have. It was awful. And the lid had a mirror in it. So when I did a new lid, I'm like, oh well, I'll get a mirror that, that's the size for the new lid. Well, no one had a mirror that size. So I'm like trying to cut the mirror myself, and like the glass was all breaking bad. It's just like the whole thing was such a nightmare. Like the woodworking part was like easy and everything else just fell apart on me. So yeah.
Oh man.
Oh, that stinks.
All right. Well, how about we you got more?
I got two more questions.
Okay.
So the first one, are there any questions or topics that we didn't touch on today that you'd like to, that you think we should have asked you about?
I don't think so. I guess I'm pretty thorough.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
My last question is, give us one person that you think we should invite as a guest on the podcast.
Ooh.
Who inspires you?
There's a lot of really awesome woodworkers out there.
Hell, give us a few.
If you guys want to go like kind of underground, like someone that doesn't get a lot of love on Instagram, used to be really big on YouTube and is stupid talented, is Kyle Toth.
Kyle Toth?
Yeah, look his stuff up. He went to the North Bennett Street School. He's really good. Another one that I was just talking to, he used to do a podcast with Kyle Toth, is Grant Berger. He's really good too. It's Grant Berger Woodworks, and then I think Kyle Toth is just Kyle Toth, or just Toth even. Both those guys went to North Bennett. They're both insanely talented. Me and Kyle used to always talk about Art Deco stuff. He was always really into that too. He was like the only other woodworker I knew that actually knew what the hell I was talking about with that stuff. And Grant builds a bunch of really cool rockers, was like his big thing, like kind of like the sculpted shaker rockers almost. But he'll build anything. He built a boat not too long ago, like not like a kayak, but like an outboard boat that he used on the ocean to fish with. So he's got a lot of skills. Both those guys. I mean, they're trained at the best school for woodworking there is. They're going to know what they're doing. So, and they're both. I don't think they get enough love. They're crazy talented woodworkers that not a lot of people know about. Paletote's a little more popular, but yeah,
Awesome.
those would be the two.
That's great. Thank you for those recommendations. Why don't you tell everybody where they can find your business and yourself on the socials?
Yeah, Instagram, Kieselbach Workshop. Hopefully you guys can put that in the show notes, because if I spell it out, no one will be able to write it down in time.
Yeah,
all your links are down below in the description. They're in there.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. Kieselbach Workshop on Instagram. That's the best way. Yep.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Perfect.
All right, Mustache, I believe you got some folks to thank.
I do have some folks to thank. Why, thank you for bringing that up while I find that window. Again, there's some fantastic people in the world. That I want to thank that are helping us support this show. And I will kick us off with Don Patterson from What's Next Woodworking, Victor from Wim Designs, Tyler from Forge 3D, Steve from Steve I Design, Mike from Lido's Woodshop, and last but not least, Jonathan, who is at John4225. Those top tier, in addition to the rest of everyone else that is supporting us on the screen. We love you guys. So thank you. And if you want to join the ranks, you can go over to supportcmp.com and tell them I sent you.
All right. Russell, thank you for taking the time. It was a pleasure being
thanks
on
for having
here
me, guys.
chatting with us. A lot of great
thank you.
information. Everybody, please head on over to his sites and go follow and show him some love. We appreciate it. And thank you very much for being on here with us. Please remember to head on over to those audio platforms like Spotify, iTunes, and download. That helps us. Please remember to give us a thumbs up on this show. We'd appreciate it. Once the show is done, if you could just come back in here and leave us a comment, let us know what you thought. You got any recommendations? If you're in the Patreon and you want a special topic, you can hit us up on Discord. Or if you're not and you want to support, Mustache just told you how to get over there and do it. Or you can email us at creativemakerspodcast@gmail.com. Next week, same time, same place, we'll be going over a topic. And am I missing anything, guys? Nothing? No input?
We'll tell you about it
Like,
afterwards.
subscribe.
Tell about it afterwards.
Like, subscribe.
Yeah,
Leave a
like,
review.
subscribe, give us a review, go on Instagram, TikTok, we're everywhere, Facebook, you name it, we're there. We love the support. We appreciate everything that everybody does, all the folks that hung out with us tonight live. We appreciate y'all every week coming in here and supporting us, and we thank y'all very, very much. So until next week, thank y'all very much, and we will see y'all. Bye-bye.